What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We got something pretty interesting here for you today. We're going to be working on my jazz bass, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to take the stock bridge and replace it with a full contact high mass bridge made by Babicz. We're going to get right into it here, and first thing we're going to have to do is loosen up our strings so that way we can remove the old bridge. As you can see, a few of them popped off already, but I'm trying to save these strings. I'm not ready to replace them yet. And so what I do is I just loosen them enough to slide them off the tuner like so. And then what I do is I just straighten the string out a bit, so that way when we go to pull them out of the bridge, they don't get caught on anything. Now that we got our strings out of the way, all we have to do is take our 5 screws out with a Phillips head screwdriver. Once the last screw's out, the old bridge comes off. Now let's take a look at this new bridge here. I'm going to open it up for you guys. I'll show you everything that comes with. So here's everything we got inside the box. We got the bridge itself, obviously. We got a set of instructions, we got hardware, and we got a adjustment wrench included. Now if you take a look at this bridge, the way it's designed, the intonation screws actually cover up some of the holes that hold the bridge to the bass. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to take the saddles off. To do that, all we have to do is loosen the 4 intonation lock screws and then back the intonation adjustment screws all the way out. I got all the intonation adjustment screws out, and so now you can see we have full access to the holes that will hold the bridge to the bass. One thing I want to make note of is that the springs for the E string and the A string are about half as long as the ones for the D string and the G string. So make note of that and make sure that you don't mix them up. Alright, so we're back to the bass here, and what I did is I just cleaned up the instrument a little bit right where the bridge is going to go, because the new bridge is a little bit larger than the old bridge, and so I didn't want to be covering up dust and everything. Not that it really matters, but I just decided to do that. And so now what we got to make note of is this little wire here. This is a ground wire. If you take a look at the bridge, you can see there's this area here that's kind of scuffed up and not chrome plated. And the idea of that is that it makes good electrical contact with that ground wire. Now what we got to figure out is when these 5 holes here are lined up with the 5 holes in the bridge, where exactly is this scuffed part lining up with, and can we get that wire underneath that spot? Now if you take a look here, you can see that this spot is pretty much exactly centered in the bridge. It's almost lined up with the center hole, just a little bit to the left. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get that wire positioned, have it sitting in the center there, and we want to make sure it's at a point where the insulation in the thickest part of the wire is actually inside the part that's routed out here. We don't want the insulation sitting on the outside, because then the bridge might actually sit on top of it and not really be sitting flat on the bass. So once we make sure that that's good, what we're going to do is we're just going to take the bridge, we're going to set it in place here, and we can start getting our screws started. Now I'm actually going to try and use the factory screws from the bass, and the reason that I'm doing that is that the new screws are actually quite a bit bigger, and so I'm a little bit, even though this is only a Mexican jazz bass, I kind of don't want to draw out the holes bigger such that I can't put the stock bridge back on if I decided. So like I say, I'm going to give these a shot. I got one of them in already, but I'm going to get a second one in here, and then we'll tighten them down and we'll see if they sit flush, and if they do, I think we're going to go with them. Alright, so I got the factory screws in there and they're looking pretty flush, so I think we're going to go with them. Next we'll go ahead and install our intonation adjustment screws again, and what I'm doing is I'm actually taking the lock screw all the way out. That way I can slide this saddle way up, and it'll make it a lot easier to get this spring in place. And then once you start tightening it down, then you can just bring it back to where it was and reinstall the lock screw. Now, as far as the settings go, for the time being, they're not set to anything. I just put them back approximately where they were when I got this new. At this point in time, the bridge itself is installed on the bass, 100%. So now it's just a matter of reinstalling our strings. String installation is really just like any other bridge. You got a hole in the base of the bridge here that the string feeds through and then locks into. And as far as the saddle itself, instead of sitting on top like it did with the original bridge, in this one it actually kind of sits in between this slot here, and you'll see how the height adjustment works in a moment, but let's get the rest of the strings in. Alright, so we got a bridge on, we got our strings installed. And this is not going to be a video showing you how to set up your bass, so I'm not going to show you exactly where all the adjustments need to be at, but I will show you all the adjustments that you can make on this bridge. On each saddle, you can see that there's 2 adjustment screws, one on the left side, one on the right side. The one on the left side is just your lock. So if you loosen that up, what that does is that unlocks your saddle height adjustment. The screw on the right is the one that actually adjusts your string height. So if you go clockwise with it, that will increase your string height, and you can increase that to however high or as low as you want it to be. And then once you're done with that, then you just go back to the adjustment on the left here, tighten that down, and that locks you in place. The only other adjustment that you have to worry about making is your intonation adjustment. As far as the actual adjustment itself, it's the same as a fender bridge. You just turn this screw in the back of the bridge. The difference is that you have this additional screw up in the front here, and what that allows you to do is lock it in place. So once you get it wherever it is that you want it, you tighten that screw down, and now you're locked in place. Now, an interesting point is, let's say that your adjustment range is beyond wherever that lock screw is located. Let's see, like you're on this one, and for whatever reason you need to take the saddle and go way up here in order to get your intonation where you're at. Well, it's simple. All you have to do is take that lock screw out, you slide your saddle all the way up to here, you put that lock screw in this hole or the center one here, or there's actually another set that you can't see right now because it's contained below the saddles, but you put that wherever you need it to be at, and then you're good to go. Alrighty guys, well that is going to do it for this video. Our installation is complete here, and I don't think I really have anything else to add here. It was relatively easy, no modifications required, and I'm always a big fan of that. So as always, if anybody has any questions, please leave them down in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you guys as quickly as possible. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. That does help me out very much. And of course, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing for more content like this. Alright guys, see you in the next one.